Welcome back, everyone, to day number 34. How many more days? All right, so we've moved on to state assumptions. Yesterday was the first day of state assumptions, so go ahead and go back to yesterday if you would like to get a little bit of a background, some introduction into this checklist. If you don't know what a checklist is, this is the first time you've visited this playlist. I would suggest going back to the beginning. Because if you've been here since the beginning, you have one badge for the endeavor elements. And if it's your first day here, you're thinking, what is an endeavor? And there's no way you know what the endeavor elements are. And if I say state progress, the people who have been here and have been watching the last 33 videos will know, all right, so state progress, we're talking about those 9 different elements, which are connected to the endeavor elements. And if I start talking about state synergy, then people will know that we're talking about clients, we're talking about colleagues, we're talking about providers, we're talking about the change over time, we're talking about other synergies, we're talking about spotting the need, spotting the opportunity for cooperation. And if I start talking about state inventiveness, then you know that we're talking about how to what? All right, so you got your state synergies, you got your state inventiveness, you got your state progress, you got your endeavor elements badge. That's 4 badges. So if today this is the first day you've been to the videos and you feel a little bit lost, then okay, so at least go back to the video from yesterday, because that's when I began talking about assumptions. So assumptions obviously are the things that we use. It's the information that influences the way we make decisions. We make decisions based on assumptions. If I assume that my car is not going to work today, I'm not even going to try. If I assume that there's going to be, if I assume school was canceled today, I'm not going to school. All right, so the assumptions, and where did you get that information from? Maybe you're watching the news. So you're getting some piece of information, it influences the way you think, and then you make a decision. That's how assumptions work. Now in business, in order to push forward, we need to be able to describe the information that we need. We need to be able to describe the information and then find the information that we need. And what kind of information do we need? So if you go back to the state inventiveness checklist, remember there was this one section about making assumptions. And if you go back to the state progress checklist, there was also this section about making assumptions. So the theme of making assumptions, it comes up again and again. And as we talk about the state assumptions checklist, we're just going into the granular detail of what it means to make assumptions. You can apply it to your inventiveness. You can apply it to your plan in general. You can apply it to the products of your competitors. You can take their products, take them apart, figure out how much every piece costs, figure out how they got it, they put it together. All right. So remember, that was how we imitate our competitors. Integrate. All right. So then we bring in some consultants. We figure out how to integrate with our clients and our customers. Avoid. You know, all of these different acts that we're going to do with inventiveness, we have to have some data to back up why we are doing things. And why did we come up with this specific prototype? Why are we developing this product? Why did we create this company in order to sell this product? Why are we pushing this information onto the market? Why are we trying to disrupt this industry? All of these questions are based on some data point. All right, so when you go in and start looking at your competitors, like who is the head of their company? What is their company culture? Where did their head of the company used to work? What influences him? What school did he go to? What has he said in interviews online, on the news? What have they printed in their yearly reports, in any of their reports? What's all the information you can get about your competitors? All right, how about your market? So you got to go in and do your research about the market. How big's the market? The favorite thing of a pitch in Silicon Valley, it's $1 billion industry. And what? And you are going to develop something to take over that industry. Yeah. Well, it might work because it's happened already many, many, many times. And it will continue to happen. All right, so then eventually you got to synthesize this information from your data. Now, today and yesterday, we are talking about databases. All right, so do you have a database? How are you going to guide the development or the evolution of a system which captures, processes, or provides data? You have to have some kind of system. And basically, what we talked about yesterday, remember, I was trying to give you guys this thing. All right, so I was trying to explain that in Google Sheets, what you can do is you write your endeavor up here. All right, so imagine that your endeavor is like, I want to buy and sell real estate. All right, so then what are you going to have to do in order to buy and sell real estate? All right, so I'm going to have to figure out how to buy it. I'm going to have to figure out how to fix it up. And I'm going to have to figure out how to rent it. All right? Those are my 3 sub-endeavors for me being a real estate investor. I mean, maybe there's more, maybe there's less, but this is just an example. So what are you doing? What's your thing? So like me, I told you guys already, I'm providing an environment where people can overcome their emotional, intellectual, and organizational hurdles in order for them to succeed and achieve better results. Now, how do I do that? So I am what? I'm advertising and I'm creating content to advertise. I'm developing some digital products. I am researching my competitors and I'm trying to provide some kind of, I'm trying to add something to the industry. All right, so now what are these other things? All right, so here's 2 more points. Like in order to do this thing, like in order for me, so what I do is like I create YouTube videos and I have an Instagram channel. All right. Now for you, it's like, what are your activities? What are your sub endeavors in order for you to reach your endeavor? What are you planning to do? All right. So this is like your table of contents. You can put this on one tab. Now you create another tab. If you don't know how to use Google Sheets, then you're in big trouble right now. Or Excel. And so then on the second tab, you have like your sub endeavor is up here. So like your first, so here's your sub endeavor number 1. So your endeavor is a collection of these 3 sub endeavors. And each sub endeavor, you need to have specific types of data points. So then you bring this sub endeavor 1, you put it onto the second tab. Once you get to the second tab, you can see these 2 lines over here. They become these 2 lines here. Oh, now you know that I speak Chinese because that's a Chinese reaction. All right, so every country is different. Chinese, they say ayo. What do they say in Russia? I can't remember. I don't know. I'm thinking Chinese today. Yeah, because I was working with that girl this morning. There was one Chinese client this morning. And we were working together for 2 hours, and I skipped my Russian lesson today. Ooh. So I'm in the Chinese mindset. All right, anyways. So now what I was trying to tell you guys yesterday is the first 2 points. The first point was about scope. All right, so scope. What does scope mean? Now, if we go to Dr. Thomas Buchholz's book, he explains scope. All right, so he says scope is, all right, so he says, all right, so metadata. Remember, I was saying metadata, it's about sources and it's about types of data. So he says metadata types, they can be topics, words and phrases, authors, date ranges, sources, quality standards, security levels, prior usage, and so forth that aid in finding or using data. All right, so there's already websites which have a whole bunch of data. These are called sources. And then you have all these companies who are creating data all the time. All right, so you want to have like a pretty clear idea of what. All right, so on the one hand side, we put the source. Okay, so if this is your first sub endeavor, and under your first sub endeavor, there's 2 data points that are interesting to you. All right, now in this line, so in a spreadsheet, you can actually make this into a link. And if it's a Google Drive link, what you can do, so say over here, we have like a file cabinet. And I put in a Word document or a PDF or something like that. You can then create a link. All right, so then you put the link here. So you write the PDF for this document about this, and then you make the link, the hyperlink, to your file cabinet. So this is all within Google Drive. Now on the second line, you describe that data. All right, so today's theme is just that. Let's see if I can get out of this without something falling over. All right, so today we're talking about information. All right, so once you find that PDF, once you find that website, once you find the information that you're looking for that specific topic. So like the first step is like you got to drill down and know exactly what you're doing in your business. You need to know exactly what your endeavor is. You need to know exactly what the projects are that you're working on. And you need to know exactly what kind of data you're looking for. You need to describe that data. And next, you want to find that data. So then you need to then detail, like, what are the keywords? What are the key topics? When do I want to know, what data range do we have? Who are the authors? What are the sources? All right, so then you start searching and like trying to crunch down on these documents. Then you put those documents into your file cabinet. You create a link and you put it back into your spreadsheet. And then on the second line, we're talking about information. What is the information that you pull out of those reports? So you need to amass data. You need to synthesize data. You need to be able to offer information. You need to be able to talk about what is this stuff. All right, so find and develop information from relevant sources. I hope that's more clear than yesterday. So, like, as usual, there's like a couple of examples in Tom's book. So, for example, this example about hiring a salesperson. So the first step is like, how do you involve metadata? So it's like, what would you do if you were looking for new candidates? What keywords would you use to find those new candidates? What employment websites would you use? What kind of headhunters would you use? What is your process for finding new people? And then you need to get as you go through those sources, you start to pull out information for exactly where you can find the specific skills and talents that you're looking for. All right, so maybe it's like some other example. All right, so maybe you have, this is an example I was talking about yesterday. I have this guy, he created a website. It's a service to connect certain types of people with certain other types of people. And now he would like to market this website. All right, so you have to point out the data sites and you have to learn the whole process of marketing. Maybe you need to find somebody who can do marketing for you. But like specify, okay, so your endeavor is what? Like, I'm trying to market a website and connect these people with these people. All right, so then what are your keywords? What are you looking for? What are the sources? Where are you going to find this information? What is it that you're trying to do? And then start to list it, all right? So from this website, I learned that marketing means this. From this website, I found that this guy provides this type of marketing service. From this website, I found out that this guy this company has these types of experiences with other websites which do the same thing that my website would like to do. Now, I realized it's going to take him a long time to go through that. And actually, eventually, we didn't see eye to eye on the process. I think that he didn't really need somebody to tell him, like, to sit there and just wait for him to go and do the research and then come back and tell me what he did. So for that specific instance, like, we didn't have as successful of a process as I've had with other people. Marketing is really a tricky one. So, but then for other people, they have been able to create a framework of like, all right, this is my endeavor, These are my 3 sub-endeavors. These are the 3 data points that I'm trying to find. And now I've started to collect sources. I've started to identify a specific area where they're constantly giving me certain numbers. And then I put those numbers in the other column. And so I'm constantly adding data to this database. And it's constantly updating my understanding of what I'm creating. Whether that's a project where you need to increase your product knowledge, whether that is competitor knowledge, whether that's market knowledge, whether you are creating reports, or whether you are managing a department. When it comes to information, I think it would be helpful if you created some kind of database. And the first 2 steps are going to be to identify sources and the type of data that you need. And then the second is to start to synthesize that information and start to understand what it means. And then you bring those things together. Of course, in the next couple of days, we're going to talk more about these things. But as you can see, we're starting to do this research so that we can influence our assumptions. Thank you for tuning into Space Between Ideas. I'm Blaine Gates.